Hey everyone, it's Alex here. If you've ever stood in the electronics aisle feeling torn between a slick new speaker system and the fear that it might end up gathering dust, you're not alone. I spent a few weeks digging through forums, watching installation videos, and even talking to a couple of people who've already tried these in-wall solutions before I hit record. The goal here is to help you figure out whether the Sonos In-Wall by Sonance with amp actually lives up to the hype, or if it's just another pricey piece of hardware you'll regret. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation most buyers have with an in-wall speaker is the permanence. You're basically committing a wall to a set of speakers that are meant to stay there for years. That's why you want to know exactly how the system integrates into a typical home theater or multi-room audio setup before you even pull the drywall. The Sonos In-Wall kit comes as a pair of speakers plus an amp, which means you're not dealing with a separate receiver you have to cram into your living room. In theory, that sounds like a clean, minimalist solution, but the practical side of it is a little more nuanced. One of the first things I looked into was the TruePlay tuning that Sonos advertises. On paper, TruePlay measures the acoustics of the room and adjusts the EQ so the sound is optimized for that specific environment. In real life, this means you have to run the Sonos app on an iPhone or iPad and walk around the room while the system calibrates. For most folks, that's a fairly quick process. About 5 minutes in you get a decent baseline. However, the calibration is only as good as the device you use and the position you hold it in. If you have a lot of furniture or an open concept space, you might find the tuning gets a little off once you rearrange the room or add new pieces. Speaking of the app, the day-to-day control is where Sonos really shines for me. The Sonos app acts as a hub for everything. You can stream from Spotify, Apple Music, or any service you like, and you can even pull in a vinyl record via the RCA line-in. The integration with Apple AirPlay too means that anyone with an iPhone, iPad, or Mac can toss a song onto the speakers without opening the Sonos app at all. Voice control works through Alexa, Google Assistant, or Siri, so you can dim the lights, adjust the volume, or change the source with a simple command. In practice, that works smoothly most of the time, but I did notice occasional lag when switching between TV audio and music, especially if the TV is connected through HDMI ARC. The switch isn't instantaneous, and if you're in the middle of a movie, a half-second delay can be noticeable. Now, let's talk about the audio quality itself. The speakers themselves are fairly small, about the size of a standard wall outlet cover, but they pack a surprisingly clean mids and fairly bright highs. The bass, however, is where you feel the limitations. Because these are in-wall units, they rely on the room's structure to amplify low frequencies. In a well-furnished living room with carpet and heavy curtains, the bass feels present enough for casual TV watching or background music. If you're trying to use the system as a primary home theater speaker, you'll probably want a dedicated subwoofer to fill in the low end. That's not a deal breaker, but it does add another component to the budget and setup. The HDMI ARC port is a nice touch for a speaker system, allowing you to send the TV's audio straight to the amp and then out to the in-wall drivers. In my test setup, I connected a 55-inch 4K TV, and the dialogue was clear, with just enough room sound to make a movie feel immersive. The catch is that you can't simultaneously send audio to the TV's internal speakers, so you need to commit fully to the Sonos system for any content you watch. If you still want the TV speakers as a backup, you'll need a separate audio extractor or a different connection method, which adds complexity. Who should buy this? If you already have a Sonos ecosystem, perhaps a Sonos Beam, a portable speaker, or a pair of Sonos earbuds, the In-Wall kit integrates seamlessly, allowing you to expand your multi-room audio without juggling multiple apps. Homeowners who are comfortable with basic DIY projects, or who have already hired a professional to run low-voltage wiring, will find the installation fairly straightforward. The speakers snap into the wall with the included brackets, and the amp mounts neatly in a closet or media cabinet. It's also a solid choice for people who prioritize a clean aesthetic and don't want to hide a bulky receiver on a shelf. On the other hand, you should skip this if you're looking for a plug-and-play solution that works out of the box with any TV. You'll still need to run speaker wire, mount the amp, and set up.